Welcome to Always 2, a Star Wars podcast, the straight-talking and skywalking Scottish duo that discuss everything about the galaxy far, far away.
But so I want to go into the actual movie. So this was the first produced thing of the Clone Wars they did. It was came out in 2008 into movie theaters. And first of all, I want to say the reaction to this movie wasn't great.
It has 18% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, and I think the main issue people had with this, I think the main issue that is apparent in this movie is the pacing, because it doesn't really feel like a movie. It very clearly feels like 3 episodes put together and then released in theaters. Because even in the third act, they just introduced this new villain. Like, oh, okay, hi, as in Zero the Hutt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because it's 3 episodes put together, that's what it is, and obviously it doesn't really work as a movie. But I'm gonna go through the movie by plot, not just every single thing that happened, but go through it naturally. We'll talk about bits, and at the end we'll say our overall thoughts of the movie and what we liked, what we didn't. But I want to say first, the movie, I love the start of the movie because it does this thing where instead of a big crawl, it does things in Star Wars, and then you hear war sounds and war sounds, you hear clones going run, and it feels like you're in a war, just from the get-go. And I just think that's such an impactful start to a movie. Obviously the other Star Wars movies, they kind of start with this long time ago in the galaxy. It feels almost like a fairy tale kind of thing. This felt like a war, and I think that was a good way to get the fact that this is the Clone Wars that we're finally getting to see.
It's one of my favourite things about Solo, that scene where Woody Harrelson's introduced, where obviously there's a fucking chicken walker in the background, right?
Yes.
That takes you out of it. But if you just took that scene, it could be in an actual war film.
Yeah. I also think in Rogue One, when they're going through the streets of Jeddah, and it feels almost like an Afghan kind of war, and it feels, and you get a feeling of this is just an actual war in real life going on, rather than Star Wars. I love the obvious Star Wars visuals that we're seeing, but
yeah, of course, but it's great. It's great.
Yeah. I thought it was a really impactful start of the movie. But the movie starts, and Anakin or Kenobi are leading a small battalion against a separatist army on the planet of Christophsis. At first, we just immediately at the start of the movie, we're in this battle. We're seeing clones just dying. It's quite graphic for a children's movie. That's kind of what it is.
And that's the thing. Obviously, Star Wars is for everyone. It's for kids as well. And I think a lot of people need to remember that sometimes.
Yeah.
However, I remember. So when did this come out? 2008.
2008.
Yeah. So we were 12.
Yeah.
Nearly 11. Actually, it came out 4 days after my 11th birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I obviously, you're 11. You've seen some things, but I do remember going, oh wow, okay, this is different to other things.
Yeah, especially because going into it, this is a cartoon, it's probably going to be not dumbed down. It's not what I'm looking for, but definitely a little bit watered down compared to the movies, because it's a children's movie, so it's not going to be we're not going to see limbs getting cut off. It's probably going to be a little simpler.
Yeah.
But then it kind of goes against that immediately when we're just seeing clones die left and right and center, because that is what happens in war. It doesn't shy away from the war aspects, which I really appreciate. And I just want to say, in the battle, the camera work is obviously camera work in quotation marks because it's animated. Yeah. But cause sometimes in animation they do put a digital camera in. It's so good, and throughout the whole movie, but especially in the opening battle when it's just going through, and it does this a tracking shot of Anakin when you first see him, and he comes down and he's cutting up the big droids, and I want to give credit to the production that goes in to the Clone Wars movie and the TV show.
Yeah, the cinematography is fantastic.
Yeah, it's so good. But during this time, we get introduced to Ahsoka Tano, who becomes obviously a very large character in the Clone Wars.
She's great.
She is great, but maybe not so much when we first introduced him. I know, harking back to 2008, when I first saw this, and I saw this who does she think she is, coming and speaking shit to my boy Anakin, because obviously she is assigned to Anakin as a Padawan, and yes. I didn't really get it at first. First, I didn't even know Anakin was a knight, but yeah, I thought he was still a Padawan. It's a Padawan with a Padawan, but he is. We don't see it in this, but in the 2003 Clone Wars miniseries made by the guy, the Samurai Jack, Gende
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember how to pronounce his name.
With one of like the best General Grievous.
Yeah, his depiction in that. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's actually in that before he's in Revenge of the Sith. That's the first time we've ever seen General Grievous. But in that, we see Anakin Skywalker get knighted. And parts of that are kind of canon, parts of it are not. But like, it's basically Anakin gets knighted in the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I think it probably feels responsibility, but from Yoda, because obviously there's all these wars going on. You need to give some like credence to Anakin so he can go out and make decisions. Because if he's still a Padawan, he probably will still be, buckled down by orders. So he's probably by red. He's one of the greatest warriors they have, so they need to give him that.
Yeah.
But immediately from the get-go, there's snarkiness between Ahsoka and Anakin. They have like really cringy nicknames for each other, which you have to remind yourself that this is a kids movie. So like some of the humor is going to be very hit and miss. And I think that's probably a reason why a lot of people were turned off at it when they first saw this movie and didn't watch the TV show.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, but it's even more prevalent in this movie. Like the show gets more serious, but anyway, they work together and they get to deactivate like an energy field so they can proceed to attack the Separatists and eventually be victorious on the planet. And I think during this you kind of see Ahsoka. There's a lot of Anakin in Ahsoka. Like she's pretty much like disobeying orders and stuff like that.
She's a littler version of him.
Yes, I think this is probably. I mean, he doesn't outright say this, but it's probably a reason why Yoda gave Anakin a Padawan, because some of his biggest flaws are like impatience, and giving him like a Padawan that is also impatient will try and teach him to be more patient.
Yeah, it's like look how much of an annoying prick you are.
It's like looking in a mirror and go, oh wait, that's what I am.
Yeah.
Oops. Oopsie daisies.
However, and again we'll get into it as the show goes on, it kind of backfires. Kind of. When you think of their relationship going forward. Because they kind of just make each other worse.
Yeah, they kind of, I understand what you mean. So, if you think about it, it's Yoda's fault he turns to the dark side. No. But, obviously, the good thing is, like, they are similar, but when you watch the show, you realise they do have different ideologies as well. So they're not just the same character, which, there's a lot more layers to it than that. But in this movie, that's kind of what they're just trying to show, that they're cut from the same cloth, if you will. The Jedi robe cloth. But I'm going to try and get rid of this a bit quicker, because I realise this might take a little bit. But I wanted to mention how I think the music is so good in this movie and the show, because it feels like Star Wars, but it also feels different to Star Wars, if you know what I mean. Like, it still has, like, tonally, it's got the same beats, but, like, the person who composed it is Kevin Kiner, I think, isn't it?
Kevin Kiner.
Is it Kiner? Well, like, he does such a, like, it's a great job of creating his own, like, soundtracks with little, like, similar motifs from, like, music we've heard in the past from Star Wars. And I think the Battle of Christophsis, like, I literally have it on like my Spotify playlist because
it's great.
It's
so good,
and it's like a recurring theme in Clone Wars. Like the music is so good. Star Wars just can't do bad music.
It's true, and also Kevin kind of had a pretty great career. He did Narcos. He did a lot of music for Narcos. He also did Stuart Little.
Okay, my favourite. That's another person I wanted to be when I was younger. Scoop and Stuart Little, because I was little, so I sympathised with wee Stuart.
But as an actual series, like he also did Land of the Lost.
Right.
He did a lot of the music for that and stuff like that. So he's done.
He
He's also done Star
career.
Trek as well.
Nah, boo. I've got nothing against Star Trek, but I remember when I was a kid, I like purposely hated Star Trek just because it was another Star show that wasn't Star Wars. But that's petty.
Stole it.
Yeah, even though Star Trek was first.
No.
Yeah, but Star Wars is better. So suck on my big fat elbow. I saved it at the end. But anyway, we're later informed that Jabba the Hutt's son, who is later named by Ahsoka Stinky, if you wanted to have another example of the bad humour in this movie.
Can we not just call him Rota?
He is called Rota, but Stinky is funny. Laugh, Daniel. It's because he smells.
I really like
Smells really bad.
that a baby hut is called a hutlet.
Yeah, it is pretty adorable.
It's my favourite thing.
I feel like maybe the Hutts, because the Hutts are like vile gangsters. That doesn't seem like a word they would create in their lingo. Maybe it was like a derogatory term from other people.
Oh,
I don't
no.
know if Jabba says Hutlet. Maybe it would be very racist.
It's
Are we
hut racism.
It's hut racism. Oops. Well, it's fine.
See,
He looks like a giant.
Zero was good all along.
He looks like a giant slimy testicle. I don't care if I'm racist to someone like that. I said it.
That's going to be taken out of context.
Oh, good. But yeah, so he's been kidnapped, and the Jedi are tasked with retrieving him. So Ahsoka and Anakin go to the planet Teth, and there's this fucking awesome sequence where like they're scaling up a cliffside, and like the big tanks that are on are just like scaling up. Like it reminds me of I've somehow made another. I'm gonna make another Avatar: The Last Airbender reference, 2 in 1 podcast. But there's a scene in that where the Fire Nation are doing like a similar thing where they're going up a cliff. And I think the Dave Filoni, who makes Clone Wars, did a lot of episodes of Avatar.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if which one came first? Avatar came first, I think.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't if this was inspired by that.
Very interesting.
Yes. So, and obviously up the cliffside, there's plenty more Anakin and Ahsoka snark for you because we love that. We love it. That's what we're here for.
It's great.
Yeah. And then we eventually learn that Count Dooku he's a tricky dicky, and he's trying to frame the Jedi for Stinky's kidnapping.
They are, and this is one of. I genuinely think it's one of the best like introductions to a character.
Because this is where we meet the assassin to Count Dooku, Asajj Ventress. That's who you were hinting at, right?
Yes, yeah.
You didn't mean Dooku, because I was like,
No.
Dooku was introduced in Attack of the Clones, Dan.
I just somehow missed Christopher Lee the whole time.
Fun fact: Christopher Lee actually voiced Count Dooku in this movie, not in the show.
It's really funny how like this cast is so weird. So like it has Christopher Lee, Samuel L. Jackson, Anthony Daniels, and stuff like that. But then it also has like. It doesn't have Natalie Portman. It doesn't have Hayden Christensen. It doesn't have Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, we'll get into more of that after we finish the plot, and we can speak like what we think of maybe the voice acting.
Yeah.
But yeah, this would be first meet Ventress, and they kind of have Ahsoka has a little duel with Ventress, which I like in this fight because Ahsoka loses quite easily, and it shows that Ventress is an opposing force immediately, and that Ahsoka is a Padawan and has much to learn. My very, very young apprentice. I don't know. I tried to call Ewan McGregor there.
You didn't. You went more Palpatine.
Yeah, good. We are always two, so it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Go evil. Woo. But eventually Obi-Wan gets alarmed by Anakin that shit's going down on this planet. Get your ass over here. Because I think he was like doing negotiations with Jabba to try and get them on the Republic side. But that's not important. Jabba's always going to be a dick. You don't want him on your side. So he gets to Teth, and he has a fight with Ventress. And the fight, I love this fight because like some of the like cinematography, like I said earlier. So there's a bit where like they go on the bridge, and it has they're fighting like on the backdrop of like, the moon, and it looks so good. And yeah, it's a really good introduction to Ventress. And I just recently read the Dark Disciple book. So I'm not going to say any more spoilers, but that is a beautiful story, which is involved. It's a set after the Clone Wars. It's set during the Clone Wars, but after season 6 of the Clone Wars, when it was meant to be in the Clone Wars before it got cancelled, like these episodes, but they turned it into a novel. And I'm not going to give any spoilers to anyone else who's in the book but it's big fan.
Lovely.
Yeah, but another thing I want to say, like I think the droid humor works so much better in the cartoons than the movies.
Yes.
Obviously
I wanted to mention that.
Yeah, it is very cartoony. Like they're kind of. Their antics anyway, so it makes sense. There's a scene in this movie where like Ventress, I think the droid's saying like, oh, should we alert back to Count Dooku that we failed, and then Ventress just like throws him off a cliff, and then when he's falling down he's like, what? I don't know why, it just sounded really funny. Some of the humor does work for me. It's not 100% batting rate or I don't know, baseball. That's a thing.
Great.
But it's a reason why I think a lot of people never continued the show, maybe.
Yeah.
But
that's a good way actually of thinking of it.
But anyway, we cut back to Coruscant, and Padme goes to meet with Zero the Hutt, the androgynous uncle to Jabba, who he is a man.
He is.
He's the uncle to Jabba. Actually, or maybe the Hutts are gender neutral. Actually, I was thinking that, but in Phantom Menace, there's
No.
a female one who has giant honkers. She has to be a female.
She has to be.
She has to be. I'm not. I mean, 2020. Obviously, she can identify whatever the fuck she wants. I'm just saying, she seemed very feminine.
Maybe they're like clownfish.
You might have to elaborate on that.
Clownfish are hermaphrodites, as they
Right.
can be both male and female depending on what the colony needs. So if like the last female dies, say there's a group of 10, right,
Mm-hmm.
and there's 9 guys and 1 woman, and then the woman dies, what happens is
They
5.
fight, and whoever wins becomes a female.
No, it's more consensual and nice
Okay.
than that.
Okay,
Basically,
I
like
went Clownfish Royale, but go on.
no, like half or some or one of the clownfish just change gender and become females to service the needs of their species.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy how what evolution can do, can't it, Daniel?
It is. So maybe the huts are all just
But also,
hermaphrodites.
I'll-
I hope that's the right term, and I'm not being horrifically.
I think so. Hermaphrodites means you're like you can have both genitalia or something, right?
Yeah,
I wanted to quickly say while you Google that that we can be more of a
yeah.
scientifically
These fish are
accurate podcast.
these fish are born as hermaphrodites that develop
Okay.
as one sex before changing it to the other sex at some point in their lives. Oh my god! Wait, it just happens.
It's randomly like just wake up. Where's my dick? Where's it gone? That'd be crazy. I did remind me. I did have a dream once where like every time I sneezed, I changed gender,
Great.
and that was honestly I liked it. I was on board. I like accepted it as my life now. Then I woke up, but
Oh no, it is. So it's like species that undergo these changes from one sex to another do so as a normal event within their reproductive cycle that is usually cued by either social structure, so like the thing I was telling you, or the achievement of a certain age or size. So if you grow to be too big, you just become either a male or a female.
women can't be that big. That seems offensive. Women, if you want to be big, you be big and beautiful.
Well,
Don't
maybe
let-
how do you
don't
know
let-
it's that way round? Maybe if they
Or-
become
or
so
vice
big, they
versa.
become women.
Yeah, or vice versa. I'm just saying, you big people are beautiful, Daniel.
Right, we need to
And
get back on topic.
Clown. I reckon we should just do a fish podcast. I'm in. No, okay, let's move on. Basically, we realise that Zero the Hutt's conspiring with Dooku to seize the power of the Hutt clans. I think their method was that they were gonna. Jabba would think the Jedi are kidnapping the Huttlet, then would kill the Jedi, and that means the Jedi Order would kidnap or imprison Jabba, and then Zero was like, well, Jabba's no longer here, I'm just gonna slide on in and become the main Hutt boy. Or woman.
That's
we
the
didn't
term.
we didn't establish what he was.
We didn't.
But I think he's his uncle, so unless Star Wars has different meanings to that, I presume.
Yeah.
But then, where Padme's in prison, she gets a convenient as fuck call from C-3PO. Perfect
idea what
time.
you're talking.
He just knew it, and then that allowed the clones to come rescue Padme. I can C-3PO always accident. He's like Inspector Gadget. He just accidentally is
He
successful.
is. He is.
Just Jar Jar's like that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is I just Inspector Gadget. Star Wars is more inspired by Inspector Gadget than I thought. But here we are.
Wow.
Hopefully, Matthew Broderick will be in the next Star Wars movie as
Maybe.
Inspector Gadget.
As Inspector Gadget.
Space Inspector Gadget.
Oh my
I
god.
did it. I'd watch it. Google Gadget lightsaber. And
Why
yeah,
isn't
it's-
that one of his gadgets?
It should be. If that would be my first thing I would install.
Same.
Then I don't know, maybe just like a big loaf of bread, just in case you're hungry.
Jordan, we're going off topic
Cool.
again.
Google Gadget bread. You always get on it with like brilliant ideas, and it's actually really unsupportive. But we'll continue. Flashback to Tatooine. Not a flashback. It's just flash to Tatooine.
Flashback.
We're not going any back. We're going forwards. Because that's where life goes forwards, Daniel, and we march on. But by the time this is over, there won't be much life left. I don't think though.
No.
No. But Anakin and Ahsoka, they give Dooku the old dupe, and they trade the Huttlet with like rocks in a backpack, and Dooku thinks he kills the Huttlet, but he didn't. He killed rocks, and then that allowed Ahsoka to eventually deliver the Huttlet back to Jabba, not before fighting some Magna Guards, which are cool to see because that's like chronologically the first time we see them, I think, because they appear in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
But this is set before Revenge of the Sith. So I do like a cheeky Magna Guard with their spinning purple fake lightsabers. They think they're Jedi, but they're not.
Great.
They're silly robots. But yeah, they're able to get his son back to Jabba, and then tell Zero about the plot against him, and then the movie basically wraps up at that point. I'd rush through that ending, but let's just talk about our overall opinions on the movie. You want to go first?
Sure. I think there are many things that this film does well. As we've previously mentioned, the cinematography is really good in points. The music throughout, really good, and is the basis for a lot of the Clone Wars music.
Yeah.
The obviously introduction of Ahsoka, which at the time wasn't a huge thing, but now with the benefit of hindsight, regardless of how she is introduced and dealt with in this film
How she's
as a standalone,
future developed.
yeah, it's a huge moment that she gets introduced.
Yeah.
I really like Ventress being introduced additionally.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the humour works.
Yes.
I think that's done okay. And I also just like, well, speaking of now, I like the commitment by all voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
Yeah.
it's the first introduction of Matt Lantner as
Exactly.
Anakin.
Yeah. I actually want to. There's a little fact. Apparently, Hayden Christensen asked to be in it, and they told him no, because people were so
Wow.
negative against him in the movies, which is just so sad.
That's
I feel
really
so bad
sad.
for it. Yeah, Matt Lantner does a great job. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think he's great. I think a big reason is why, because in the Clone Wars series and the movie, they wanted Anakin to be characterized more as like a hero rather than like he's a bit whiny in the movies, and they were, this was going to be the hero Anakin Skywalker, and I think maybe just they wanted like a fresh voice to, because they were characterizing him so differently in the movies, I guess you could say. So
Yeah.
they wanted a different person. But I want to talk James Arnold Taylor. I think does a very good
yeah.
similar impression of Ewan McGregor, you could say. Like I think he sounds enough like him.
Yeah, he sounds almost spot on.
Yeah, and like I love the Clone Wars movie and the show so much that sometimes I think of Matt Lantner and James Arnold Taylor's voices before Ewan McGregor and
Yeah.
Hayden Christensen, just because I spent so much time with them. And
Shows
I
how
think-
good they've done.
Exactly, yeah. And Matt Lantner is doing quite well for himself now. Actually, he's in I think he's like a main character of a quite popular show on like.
Yeah, he is. I
CW or
can't
something.
remember what it is now.
Yeah, it's
though.
like Timeless or something. I think it's called.
It's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is I'm just happy to see. These are all my boys. I've just decided
Yeah.
in the Clone Wars because I feel so attached to it. Like I just want them all to be successful. But yeah, Christopher Lee and Samuel Jackson were both in this movie. So apparently Samuel Jackson said that like when this movie came out, he went to them and was like, no one else is playing Mace Windu. I'm
Fair
doing it."
enough.
Yeah, but then eventually, I guess he couldn't commit to a full.
I was
TV
about
show
to
when that
say,
eventually
yeah.
came. But like when it was just a movie, it was like, no one's doing it. This is I'm doing it. I don't care. So yeah, Christopher Lee's more surprising, I guess, because I feel like he probably would be a bit more. I say that Samuel Jackson's very busy. I was gonna say busy. But
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Christopher Lee seems like someone who wouldn't be as passionate about Star Wars, I guess.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. I don't know. He seems like someone that he's done so many roles, so many things that it might just feel like another job to him. But maybe that's being harsh. Maybe he cares about all his projects.
Yeah, maybe so. Like
Yeah.
The Howling 2.
Sure, I'll take your word on that one.
Yep.
I know him from Lord of the Rings, James Bond, Star Wars. That's pretty much it.
And I know he did a lot of Shakespeare. And as Nosferatu as well.
No, yeah, that's true. He did do
Dracula.
Nice. But yeah, I want to also talk about the sound design because like I think the sound is incredible. It's done by Matthew Wood, who also did the sound design of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's also the voice of General Grievous in the movies and the show. And
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
Yep, there's a little. See, I'm full of facts, me.
But Jesus Christ, actually, when you think of how much Grievous is in the Clone Wars, the amount of work he has put into the
He
Clone
also
Wars is
voices all the
insane.
droids.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a busy boy.
He is a
But yeah,
talented man.
I think the sounds of Star Wars is one of the greatest aspects of from the movies.
Yeah.
Like look at like the TIE fighter noise, lightsaber ignition, like it's so
Darth Vader's
so,
breathing.
Exactly, like there's so many iconic sounds that go along with Star Wars. Actually, the only reason I got Star Wars Battlefront 1 was so I could like hear the sounds and be in Star Wars. I didn't care about the gameplay. It was just cool just hearing.
I'm
all these
here.
sounds.
I'm on
yeah,
Hoth.
I'm on Hoth. I don't care. This could be. This game you couldn't even be able to move, and I wouldn't care. I'm here, and I'm enjoying the lovely camels walking in the snow.
Was Hoth in the first Battlefront?
Yeah, Hoth was in the first Battlefront.
Yeah,
for sure.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanna. This is the last thing I want to talk about. It's not fully developed in the movie. It's more in the Clone Wars TV show, but the depiction of the clones in the Clone Wars is like it takes like the movies, like Revenge of the Sith especially, it makes you like care so much more about like the plot and what's happening, because each one of these people you realize they're people. They're not just like droids with like no brain. They're actually people with different personalities. They have different like wants and interests. Like you said, like that Deserter episode. That's a good way. That's depict that very well, because you had someone who just didn't want to be a soldier anymore, and like I think the movie does a good job of introducing that, which is later then developed like even more in like the show. And it's one of my favorite aspects of the Clone Wars, and getting you to care about these pretty much faceless like people. Like they have all the exact same face, the same voice, but somehow they do a great job of making you care about everyone like independently and differently.
They managed to make clones, and obviously we say that a lot in Star Wars, but when you think of it, a clone in real life, like, it's just a carbon copy of something, and they make you care about them as individuals. That's incredible.
I know, that's like the amount of like talented writing that has to go into that to make you care about something that, for all intents and purposes in the movies, they were just all the same person. But they changed that in the show. And I want to give credit to D. Bradley Baker, who does the voice for the clones in that, who does an incredible job of differentiating the clones from each other.
Like, again, we'll go into it much later, but just even as a shout out, like, look at 99.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just the emotion you have behind that character is insane.
Yeah, and there's like, I know you've not seen the season 6 of Clone Wars, have you? There's actually a clone related thing there that I literally cried at. I cried at 99 actually as well.
Yeah.
The one in season 6 is like, oh, it hits so hard. I want to briefly talk about the animation as well, because I think a fun fact of this that George Lucas literally put money from his own like bank account into this. He got nothing back. He cared about making the stories being as best as they could be, because a lot of people don't understand that Clone Wars, pretty much every story came from George Lucas. He wrote. Him and Dave Filoni sat down and were like, he was teaching him. Dave Filoni's almost like a mini George Lucas. He's like his protege, and he like taught him like, everything he knows. And like, I think a lot of people like to shit on George Lucas because he's not the best director in the world or like screenplay in the world, but he's still an absolute imaginative genius person.
He literally created this universe.
Exactly. Like, his stories are so imaginative. Like, so maybe he gets a helping hand of putting them onto the screen, and then that's like a recipe for perfection, if you will. Yeah, and I just want to say, and also season 7 of Clone Wars is going on right now. Actually, we've not even mentioned that at all. And obviously, you've not caught up yet. But I've been watching it, and like the animation comes such a long. The animation's good here, but like the places it goes is it's exciting. I'm excited for you to watch it, Daniel.
You're so lovely.
I know, but that is I think that's all the words I have to say about the movie. A decent introduction to a series that later on becomes even better than we possibly could imagine.